Hello, I'm Dr. Wendy Rowley, and this is the Heartfield series, episode 16. I hope you're enjoying this series so far. And if you are, like, subscribe, and comment. I was contemplating today in meditation. If you go through a lot of experiences in life, or you have childhood experiences, or adolescent experiences, or work experience, or experiences with people, or friends, or loved ones, or boyfriends, or girlfriends, or whatever, and the situation is difficult and it doesn't work out, and there's sorrow and sometimes an unfinished end to it, or you have a lot of these experiences in life, there's a funny thing that can happen. You can get to the point where you are forgetting that things can be okay in a way. There isn't a trust to be in a situation and that your heart can open and that it's okay and that people are operating for the best and highest good of everyone and that there is love there and that you can open up to the joy that is the natural, one of the natural states of being a human. And so you can get this feeling like you're always on edge, or you don't have the faith or the understanding that life isn't always like that. And so I was contemplating that today, that sort of jaded way you can get by the experiences that you have in life, and how important it is to hold an ideal of joy, of this ability to see the good in all and see the good in a situation and have that expectation that things always do work out for the best. One of the things that's funny about going through your life and getting older is you tend to have an understanding that if you look at things overall through time, that things actually do end up okay. And it's helpful to, I think, plug that problem up, see it in your third eye and on a screen, and put that picture there of what's going on, and take that and ground it into the earth and align it up to the cosmic with gold lines, and then bring it all the way up to the creative source. People use that representation of the sun for that. And maybe I will do a little bit of visuals. I have some pictures I've drawn to show people how to create in their third eye, like they're watching a movie on a screen, because it's very helpful, that creative visualization, for healing, moving energy, getting information. But anyway, so you imagine that, and you grind and you align it up to the creator, you attune it to the creator, and you release that problem to them, and you ask that whatever is blocking your ability to see the best and highest good in that gets cleared, and your consciousness changes and sees a different way of viewing that. It's like you need a new way of seeing the situation. You need a new understanding. You need a new perspective. You need to see beyond that knee-jerk reaction of the pain that you have had in a certain past that has maybe become a little program in you, that's going to happen again, or that feeling is within you about that comes up. So I thought I'd mention that today. And it's interesting when you look at the different meditations and religions around the world, that in, I believe it's Buddhism, they start out with the training of it with the monks sometimes. And I think one of the things that they have to visualize is seeing. They usually use a deity, and they have to see it in great detail on a lotus and all, and they have all these things that has to be seen. But I believe what some of that is maybe they are working with that deity, and that's part of that training of that energy, familiarity, that attunement. I like to go for the big kahuna. Maybe that represents an aspect of God or the supreme being. But this idea that you see this best in things, that you see that the creator is love, and an unfolding paradigm of bringing us to that place where we are attuned to that, where we focus on that, where we see that. And it's very important to do that in healing. You see the healee, or the person you're working with, as healed, Some people say for 3 months of a period, I just kind of go for it, let it be healed completely. And then you pull your energy back off of that so that you don't have an attachment to it. So holding that picture of everything being at the creational level in that perfection, in a way that is the creator's creation, that everything is okay. You know, the birds are okay. They don't struggle like we do. The flowers still come up under the worst circumstances, a little crack in a parking lot, and there will be that weed, but then there's that flower. And so focusing on that picture is very important in our lives as well as in the healing arts. So that's what I thought I would share today. And let's see what our co-host, our co-presenter in this series has to say about the heart field in this series, episode 16. And I don't, by the way, name the titles until after we have the whole picture. And then I name the title for the episode. So it's a work in progress. And thank you for your patience as I get more used to speaking to the idea of the public out there and bring this work forward. And as she said, and we're starting to unveil, the real purpose of this work is large groups to bring forward healing of the human consciousness grid, and particularly the women, to clear the heart field within that. All right, I'm going to get out of the way and let this work come forward, or this information. Oh, good day to you, dearest beings of light. My name is Aliania of Cosmic Service, Pleiadian Mother of Sound. Peace be with you, and peace be with you. I am of the Pleiadian, well, they call them timekeepers, or they call them the grid builders. There are many in this group. We are a sort of a soup of consciousness. We are very much aware of our individual consciousness, but we work cohesively as an energy, much like this one has said, large groups of humans can come together and heal the tribal and national level of the human crystalline grid. And that is the work that she is attuned to, that she signed up for long ago to fulfill as an agreement, which she has upgraded that agreement into present time and put in some new things, but she very much likes the idea of this healing paradigm, because she has been a healer most all of her life, and the majority of her Akashic records, over 2/3, she has been a healer. And that is her soul's mission on this particular earth at this time. You have overarching large missions that work within your soul group, and you have small individual lifetime missions of things you came to accomplish and learn at the soul level. All right, so what we wish to talk about today is the heart field in relationship to the creational levels that we have started to speak about. We have started to speak about the connections to the field, to that benevolence that's in the field, and that attunement that this one was talking about, that is so important to hold, not only in healing, but in life, is that idea that that supreme being energy out in the field at the creational level is benevolent, it is sweet, it is joyful, it is, as this one says, the flavor of love. She calls love the fabric, the underlying fabric of creation. We call love the catalyst of creation, that you have to be at a certain vibration in your heart in order to create in the higher levels of manifestation and creation. Now, as you spend more time on the earth, many have brought in this information in other channels, you have more and more lifetimes, and you get more ability to create at higher levels. And it is as you learn to hold a spiritual presence in a body, and you learn what is appropriate in the way of behavior and concepts and ideals of for the best and highest good, then you get more power and energy within the soul forces aligned through soul to be able to be an effective creator in your life, as you and humans do. And then there's the level where you begin to create and work in groups for the greater good of all at a group level. And those are the ideals behind governments and corporations and towns and villages. It's the idea of coming together as groups. And so if you look at the history of peoples, which has come and gone, and that whole flavor going away, separating, becoming individuals, coming in, building group fields of consciousness and creating as groups for the greater good, that is kind of the explanation of civilizations coming and going in an archaeological viewpoint at a spiritual level, because they come in and they serve a particular purpose and then they would end. The difference in the time you are now, this is an aside from our original talk, is that they don't completely disappear anymore. You get to a time on the earth where the civilizations begin to last and just morph one into the other, rather than literally disappear, as there are many, many ancient archaeological sites. This one is having this in the back of her mind, so we'll bring it up, where they have realized that the civilization just disappeared. They don't know what happened to the people. They don't know what happened to the civilization. They just were there and then they weren't. And there's no previous history recorded that they can have an understanding of what happened to those peoples. And that is actually not that important. The more important concept is that you will create through each civilization that you're in, and time will bridge one civilization to the other. Because as the earth gets more populated and more of the land of the earth gets filled, there is not as much room to recreate. And that's why you're already in the space exploration, because then you go to other planetary systems within your reach, as we did in the Pleiades, where we have our civilizations in over 14 to 15 different planetary areas in our star galaxy, as you will eventually do over millions of years. Heady thought, way in the future, way in the future. But what we wanted to talk about today was this idea that in that field is this benevolence of creation, and that in order to create, as this one teaches in some of her classes that she's had, you have to be in joy. You have to be neutral, and you have to be certain of your spiritual ability to do so. Usually those who feel called to listen to these types of channels or channelings or lectures or spiritual information are usually older souls. They have an inkling and a feeling that there's something true and wise and that they feel connected to in this kind of a lecture series, or in other people on the web bringing forward beautiful spiritual information at this time. For you're in a time where the fruits of spirit come in very strong, because you are entering a spiritual renaissance. Yes, you are. Think of every great renaissance that came through: art, music, spiritual concepts, consciousness growth, inventions, new solutions to problems, and periods of peace. And you are entering the ability to bring that forward. Now, civilization and archaeology give you the feeling that this was a short time and in the recorded history, but it actually goes forward over thousands of years until the peak is reached. That is most often the recorded one in your past history. But in the times you are in now, this will be the beginning of something that will be realized was the beginning of a type of golden age, and that everything prior, almost before 2012, was a completely different energy, a completely different understanding, and a completely different consciousness. Our consciousness is going to evolve quickly as far as humanity goes from now forward. Now, that still takes millions and millions of years, but it's not bumping against the same old energy that you have in your recorded past. So in this field, in the outer torus, this one, and we are going to speak about this and bring in a little of her personal meditation journey to explain what we're talking about, because it is helpful. As a human, it is helpful for you to see a picture of your energetic spiritual anatomy and how it connects. When you learn about your physical anatomy and different aspects in it, then you can understand how you need to care for your body. For instance, your lungs breathe air and they need good oxygen. And you now know that clean air is very important. And so the ideas of reducing pollution are becoming well understood. So in your understanding of your spiritual anatomy and how it connects out to the group soul, you too can form a picture of understanding. So this one, being a sound healer, is always looking at sound and sound in relation to healing. And she's discovered a couple of new points related to the heart. One is in the throat, but it connects to a point here in the lower part of the thymic area, which is the upper part of what is called your soul mandala. Did you know you have a mini microcosm in your solar plexus area that is a micro picture of your entire spiritual anatomy, from you and your energy field all the way out to the field, to the group soul. And so it relates to a place down there in the soul mandala, it's called. It's an area in your spiritual spirit body anatomy that relates to the heart and to the sound. So she found there was a little space here in the throat and one in the head that relates to sound, the larynx, the voice box, the heart, and that it goes to those higher spiritual senses that we talked about in the beginning of this series. If you missed it in one of those earlier episodes, there's a wheel of feeling for your heart field here in the front of your chest, out in the energy field. And it corresponds and goes back through the neck to which is very much higher will and creation. And there's a creation mandala here. And it goes up, and there's 5 spiritual senses off in the back of your head, outside your physical body. And they connect to things that we spoke about in the previous episodes, where she's put that anatomy out there in the comments section, as techie as it is, for a little bit more of your understanding. And so those points go to the middle point of these spiritual senses, which go up to the galactic gateway, the galactic information, the middle of the 5 apparatus that we've given you a picture of that are functioning at this time. And it goes all the way up through those into the area called the pre-angelic sound realm. It's the farthest most point in your 26-foot wide aura in the outer torus, right before it goes all the way out to the group soul field and to the heart of the creative force in that field that you are all connected to. So the picture she gave you of those Buddhist monks who are picturing that deity in perfection, or as she was taught in healing, holding that picture of the highest good and rising up above your match with that healee or person you are helping, and learning to clear your match with them, heal yourself, then rise up above and be in that soul presence with that person, so you can see the soul bring in the new energy after that healing has happened. So at the group soul level, the exact same thing happens when you heal as group souls. There's a lower level of the tribes and nations of a disharmony, and your soul group, your soul united group, brings in a beautiful new flavor or sound at that level that can be audible to a sound healer who has worked very hard to clear herself. And she's just breaking into that level. And there are many people that operate at that level on the earth as sound healers. They just don't understand maybe the anatomy, because this is new information that she's bringing forward so that it can be taught and understood, how you have this connection to the divine. So we have said that out in the field, it's mostly like the heart of the creator. We called it a heart engine of the creator, having to do with creation. And so through that engine into the soul groups, there's massive healing that happens when you all get together as a group. So we're going to put a plug in for her and for this work. She has started a page on her website called the Peace Interval. And it has a very short and sweet explanation about signing up for notifications. She's doing a summit in the middle of January timeframe, whenever the full moon comes for that. And it is going to be the first group grid healing of the tribe and national level of sound healing as a group. So if you're interested in this idea and this work and coming together to clear and to heal as a group, soul group, through the heart field of the creator in the field, and heal out the droses on the human crystalline consciousness grid, she's going to begin that next year. And she's going to bring in other healers to also be involved in that theme. And so if you're interested in that idea, go and sign up in the Peace Interval to be part of the email list to receive notifications for that work, which will be free. It will always be free. And then if those of you who wish to have tapes to listen to it, to retune into the lectures, then there will be a charge to maintain the websites for that. But all of this group healing of her project, the Peace Interval, or the women coming together to heal the heart field of the human crystalline grid, is going to be done free. When there gets to be a point where the technology gets a little more complicated, there might be a small donation requested of not more than $5 to help pay for the cost of that. But the bottom line is, this is a free project that she is doing. She didn't know that until now. And there will be live events that will be a charge for the rooms and the maintenance and all of that aspect. But the web group healing paradigm will be free. And this is going to go on for quite a while. So it'll be a meditation, a lecture, an energy healing that you will receive as an individual, as well as you contribute to the soul group level of the human consciousness grid being healed in this work. She had no idea we were going to come out and give that plug this day, but we are giving you this understanding because in the next series that we're doing, and if you notice, she's doing different colors going up the chakras just for fun, but she has no idea that's exactly what's happening in this lecture. And we are going to be taking you now in this understanding of this series into the heart field at a level of creation that is planetary and different, and has some different aspects than personal healing. And so there will be a little bit more anatomy explanation, some new anatomy that we might give this one ahead so she has understanding of it. And there will be an understanding of different themes that are coming forward for understanding of that are themes of the heart field. And then there's going to be a little understanding of something called the 16 consciousnesses of healing through your interdimensional DNA. So there's going to be a little bit more. And this series, we think, will wrap up by September. And then a whole new series will start. That'll be preparatory for understanding of the summit and the healing of the human consciousness grid. So that's the Heart Field series. And that's what we wished you to know this day. You are dearly loved. Expect benevolence in all you do. This is Alienia of Cosmic Service, working with many, many, many other beings and angelic beings who are preparing for this work, as we have been since we created the grids on the planet before you arrived as soul groups. For this level of evolution that you are at, so that you may clear the human grids as you clear yourself, and that you may bring in the next phase of Earth evolution, as heady as that sounds. Peace be with you, and I bid you adieu. All right. Well, I guess I have to let loose and get used to unexpected surprises. And I hope you found this inspiring and inspirational. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And if you have questions and anything that's ever said that you don't understand, I'd be happy to respond. And then check out the peace interval at the Wonder of Human Design website. There's a link in the corner of the banner up top. And check the next series that's starting, called The New Human Potential. And that will run up until September also, I believe, or August. That's a smaller series. But it's about potentials over the next 200 years. I have no idea what'll be in there. Okay, thank you. This is Dr. Wendy Rowley. This is episode 16 of the Heartfield series. And have a great week between your episodes.